It's the Spill the Wine Show. Yeah, it's the new year. Oh my gosh, 2022. I know there's been a little absence here for several weeks or maybe a little longer. Hi, I'm your host, Leroy Guilford, and yes, the new year's bringing all kinds of fun new things, and if you hear some noise in the background, you're hearing some refrigeration. So we're actually sitting in this lovely little cafe where they have incredible sausage and an incredible selection of wine. And the guy who is known much in Southern California, and as those of you who follow me, we are kind of a Southern California flavored wine talk show here. In Temecula. And Mad Mike is what everybody knows this guy by, but Mad Mike McCoy is not only an incredible sausage man, but we've known each other a number of years, and he's an incredible entrepreneur. Mike, speak into the mic.
Well, thanks for having me here, Laura.
Well, let's, and as we sat in here the other day, and we're tasting up some yummy lunch items, and of course, a couple of the wines now that you guys are featuring in your own private label. Let's talk about first, what is Mad Mike's? What's the cafe? And then we're going to visit a little of what inspired you, your history to get where we are. So jump in, have at it.
All right. Well, Mad Mike's is a company that started 31 years ago. We were Orange County based, and it came about because of my love of food and blending flavors to make things jump out at you, incredible flavors, incredible taste. And I found sausage was a great item to make that happen with. Now, all these, incredible winemakers here in Temecula Valley, they do the same thing with grapes.
Yes.
And what I try to do is do that with sausage.
I like that, with sausage.
Sausage. Anybody can make sausage, but who does it right? And we set out, because I'd been in the food business a long time, we set out to do something that was really special. And my background was selling and marketing to restaurants, hotels,
so let's wind
clubs.
The clock back to when you were a young, spry chicken like me, right? So.
I've never been as young as you are.
That's our times past, right?
Yeah.
So, anyways, but you spent some time in the serious end of the food industry, right? And why don't you back up and talk a little bit about that? Because it kind of set the stage. So you worked for this little company called Kraft a long time ago, huh?
and companies before that. I've had 50 years. That's 50. In the food business, and it came about because I love the food business. Food is all about people and great flavor and great taste, and then people again. It's making people happy. So, my first job wasn't in food. That was.
Like a lot of us.
We won't go back that far, but I was I
worked in the grocery business many years.
14 years old, I was a dishwasher, at an Italian restaurant. But my career really started after I came back from Vietnam, and I was going to college, and I needed a part-time job because I took care of my family and me. Right. And
by the way, I have to interject this. Yeah. Thank you. Being a Vietnam vet. Those were interesting times back then.
Yeah. We're big. You come to my clubhouse cafe here, you'll see how patriotic we are. We respect veterans, active duty servicemen, first responders. We're big on this country. But coming back from the service, I got a job while I was going to school, and it was at a Straw Hat Pizza. And that's where I really saw the connection of food and people, hot pizza and a carafe of wine or a pitcher of beer, and the smiles in the faces. So that's where I've spent my life doing. started off in the restaurant business,
Right.
then went to my corporate life in sales marketing with International Food Service, Keeler Foods, and Kraft Foods as a distributor. And then went back into,
Now,
the
now
industry.
didn't you tell me, so you originally based in Orange County of Southern California?
Yes.
Right? And you guys ended up, meaning you and your wife, you bought a restaurant, right? Is that what I
Well-
understand correct?
well,
so can we go in?
we've
Or
had
did I
s-
jump ahead from?
The total story of 50 years is way too long.
Oh no! Well, we
And,
want to hit the highlights. This
yeah,
is
yeah.
your food leading you to what? Of course, we love to
Right.
talk about wine, which is
Yeah.
But so
Yeah.
I mean, that's a good training ground, right?
Well, I had owned and operated restaurants early on in my career, and then I went corporate, and then I came back to it. So as vice president of sales and marketing, whether it was Keeler Foods or Kraft Foods, I enjoyed that big company and the feel and working with my salespeople and serving, by the way, the food service side. So we served restaurants, hotels, country clubs. I really enjoyed it, but I also felt the big corporation versus the small business and entrepreneurialism. And at heart, I'm Main Street instead of Wall Street.
Right.
You know, I love smiling at the real people, and I love making everybody happy. So I went back to the restaurant business. We owned a restaurant, pub, billiard place in Mission Viejo, and then ended up finding my way here, thankfully, to the Temecula Valley.
So you've been here in Temecula Valley now how long?
I want to say it's 15 years. My son, my oldest son, actually moved to this area, the valley, first, and we came out to visit and fell in love with it. And we'd always lived in Long Beach or Orange County. You come to Temecula, and it was like coming to a brand new universe. It was so wonderful and so relaxing, and so many nice people.
And we're still kind of an undiscovered gem, even though wine country itself is almost 54 years old now.
Right.
It's from the first wine grape plantings for commercial purposes in 1968. Good old Audrey and Vinnie Chilurzo, speaking of Italian influences. So, all right. So 31 years, you said, for the sausage end of
Yes.
things. Let's follow that chain. Okay.
All right.
Because here we are in the Mad Mike's Cafe, where you can have
Clubhouse
Clubhouse Cafe.
We're big into clubs. You know.
Yeah, we're going to talk a bunch about that.
I
So-
love my clubs.
and your wine club, yes.
Yes.
So, you were, when we were visiting about that, tasting up some of your yummy sausage creations the other day. Let's go back and talk about how the parlaying of that came along.
How it all came
Yeah,
together, sausage.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, I'd always been involved in the food business and pretty much all aspects of it. When I decided to leave big corporate America and come back to small business and operating restaurants again, I also wanted to stay in the food service distribution side of the business. I loved them both. So my thought was sausages, by creating new flavors and great tastes, are different than selling commodities. Everyone can sell hamburger. Now, whether it's lean or not lean, and they notify you, but everybody can sell hamburger. It's a commodity. But when you take a ground pork or ground chicken, ground turkey, and ground beef, but then start adding flavorings and seasonings to this product, that when you taste it, instead of going, that's ground beef, you go, wow, that's amazing. So I was looking for the wow factor, and I went, I can do something with sausage, store to store, restaurant to restaurant, hotel to hotel, and create a company. I didn't want to sell a commodity. I didn't want to be average or mediocre.
You wanted your thumbprints on it, your personality.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm quite a personality, I guess.
That's why you're known as Mad Mike.
Yeah, you either love me or you hate me, I guess. But I think we've succeeded in that. There's so many great companies out there
Right.
doing a variety of things, but we've made our little niche with sausage. The company actually started with 4 flavors. We now have 39 variations of flavors for our specialty customers, which is way too many, but we're having way too much fun. Yes. So,
well, it's like somebody making wine.
Yep.
Since we're in wine country, or somebody, we got tons of craft beer operations in Temecula, and certainly
yes,
south of us
same
in
thing.
San Diego County, it's like the craft beer capital of the United States, almost. I think Connecticut or somebody like that's slightly ahead, but not by much. And it's the fun of putting forward crazy new ideas.
Right. We're an
See how
artisan
people-
company. It's like a microbrewery. You know, the locals, they do things really special. And that's what we try to do with sausage.
Now, when you make a sausage, this is a little tangent here, but in my mind, okay, we were talking about the different ground of meat, and before you start adding the flavors and all that kind of stuff. But there is a process. I mean, to get it into that form where we can slice it up and put it in, put it in a bun or put it in on some pizza or put whatever we do with it. I mean, it's got to come in that form. So you actually manufacture that all as you put together the flavor set.
Yeah, what we do is, by the way, I'm not afraid to steal great ideas or great flavors. So I attend like 6 specialty trade shows in the food service industry every year, and been doing that for over 40 years, close to 50. But we stay in touch with what the trends are and what
Right.
people are looking for. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. I will tell you, putting peanut butter in sausage doesn't work.
And you speak from experience.
We draw the line somewhere. I also have made, there's some great traditional sausages around the country. I mean, every single country has specialty sausages. And then if you talk to a mother or a grandmother that lives in that country, any country, they have their special recipe for that style of sausage. So, I mean, it's incredible how many flavors there are. But some things work and sometimes don't. We've got a sausage with pineapple that's incredible, but it wouldn't work all the time.
Right.
We do a Bavarian apple cinnamon sausage that has a specialty niche, in breakfast and brunch. But sometimes people put spices and seasonings in it to cover up the basic. You got to start with great pork, great beef, great chicken, etc.
No, I got to go on a little tangent here.
I know.
The wine industry. There are people that grow inferior produce and they try to mask it.
It's the same thing in our industry.
Yeah, exactly. You've got to start with the best.
Right.
I mean, you got to farm it right first, and in this case, well, you're farming it. I mean, meat's got to be farmed, right? So, I mean, you're not farming it. But
I'm not farming it. I've developed over 50 years. I have great relationships in a variety of food industries, and so now I'm happy to let others do certain parts of the work as long as I set the parameters. So we private label and we co-pack. It's like here at the store, you'll also see our jams, jellies, barbecue sauces, steak slathers, mustards. I don't make all of those.
Right.
but I find incredible people that do incredible things with
Right.
flavors, and then I go, let's tweak that a little bit. Can we add a little more spice or a little touch of sweet, etc.? I want it thicker. I
You're
want it
value
thinner.
added. Yes.
Well,
yeah.
there isn't anything that I do that I'm not proud of, and there's not anything that I do that I don't guarantee. So if you buy a product that I love, but you don't love, I take care of it. I totally get it. Different strokes for different folks. Everybody has a different palate. Same thing with wines, of course.
Let's shift gears a little bit into the immediate right now
Sure.
and talk about the Clubhouse Cafe. You've been open how long now in this location?
I think we've been here, it's about 8 years, I think, that we've been at this Temecula facility.
And you're a little bit off the beaten path in that we're in a little bit of an industrial area to the west side of the I-15
Yes.
freeway off of Jefferson.
Yep.
And it works well here, huh?
It works for us. We're
Right,
well, we're not a mass producer.
right.
We're totally different, and we love the fact that we are. And so we have a great little facility here. As you can see, you're sitting in it right now. I mean, it's nice and comfortable, and it
it's
shocks people when they walk in because
It's
it's
not
totally different.
ostentatious. It's very down home. Yes.
You can forget fancy when
Yeah.
you think Mad Mike. You just have to think great flavor, great taste.
That's
But we surround ourselves with wonderful people, whether it's our customers, our employees, the people we do business with. If we don't do anything, again, we don't work with any people, we don't do any products that we're not proud of. And so if you want to try a little something made in Bell Buckle, Tennessee that you don't know about, you could probably come here. It'll have a Mad Mike label on it, but they're
Right.
made by the nicest people in the world. And that goes on and on and on, from we have products from Texas and Northern California. And
Yeah, speaking of, and I mentioned this to you the other day, but your sweet, they're a pickled jalapeno, right?
Yes.
And I gravitated to that because I saw a Texas winery that actually took that and used that with wine, like a shooter. And I just, all of these different fun things, and I'm looking there and I'm going, we got to get you with a white wine and start doing a little bit of the special stuff you got on the wall there on pairings. That might be kind of fun.
okay,
Now, let's talk about
Leroy.
Yes.
You like wine with pickled jalapenos together at the same time.
That's correct, yes.
You're a very strange palate, but it sounds good to me too.
Well, I didn't create the idea. I experienced it somewhere else, and I'm just thinking it sounds like a fun thing to have some fun with. Since we're talking about, let's talk about your different pairing. You can't call them. Well, let's talk about the dinners, okay? Because you have the sausage club, and now you have the wine club, and that's kind of really, with all the years we've known each other, that kind of is what drew me here now, because everybody knows when over the years I've had Wine Country Talk Radio, now with the Spill the Wine Show podcast, it's got to be wine centric. So
Yeah.
and I'm looking over here on the wall, and I see you have an incredible selection now.
Probably
Southern
30 or more
California
wines.
and stuff from throughout, imports as well as throughout California, but our local wineries as
And
well.
local wineries, yeah.
So let's talk about the Sausage Club events,
Sure.
and then let's talk about now the new wine club.
We started this company, Mad Mike's, doing wholesale. We sold restaurants, hotels, country clubs, etc. When we came to, we started a little bit in Orange County doing some retail packaging, but when we came to Temecula, we had this opportunity to take our current location, which was an existing restaurant that had been closed down, and we didn't operate it as a restaurant the first year. We used it for our special events, and creating flavors and tastes, but never operated as a restaurant. It was more of a warehouse and kitchen for us. The next year, we said, geez, we've got this great little restaurant area in the front. Let's start a little store with all the things that we were selling on our website from people that we'd met around the country. So we started the store, and then everybody said, they'd walk in, they go, well, this is a restaurant. Why aren't you a restaurant? And that's my background anyway. So we started a little bit, and that's where we are today. But this became the catalyst for starting a sausage club here in Temecula.
I love the way you say sausage.
I know.
Sausage.
I'm really an Italian kid, but I sound like other ethnics sometimes. The sausage club came about because people had known about our product and had seen us at different events. So we said, first of all, this is backed by the fact that we fell in love with Temecula. We used to love Paso Robles. Now we love Temecula. And we were involved with all these wineries and these nice owners. And, of course, we joined wine clubs. And I said, well, why can't we do a sausage club just like a wine club? And that's exactly what we've done. So when you join the wine club, we have pickup parties every other month. And we have dinners that you can come to if you can for the pickup party dinners, and we have just some of the greatest people. So,
let's talk specifically Sausage Club, because that is your heartbeat. Okay, so
where we started.
What's the typical Mad Mike Sausage Club?
All right. So, you first of all to qualify to be a Mad Mike Sausage Club member, we want you to purchase 5 items. And whether we're at a trade show or whether we're at a event at a winery or wherever you happen to see us, if you see us there, don't join the club if you don't love the product. So buy 5 items. Once you've qualified, then join the club. You get discounts on the sausages that you buy and discounts on everything else that we sell in the restaurant, including our dinners and special events and lunches. They started off 5 1-pound packages of sausage every other month. And we would pick the flavors just like a winery picks the wines.
Right. Okay.
We are now at a point where most of the time you can come in and pick any 5 sausages you want. In fact,
39, right?
We keep about 18 retail sizes. Okay. We do a lot of specialty things, again, for restaurants, but keep about 18 flavors, so you can come in out of those 18 flavors and pick any 5 you want. You can pick all 5 spicy or all 5 mild. You mix and match. In fact, now the Sausage Club, we just want you to, come to the dinner if you can, and taste all these incredible sausages. But come in and buy 5 items when it's pickup time, pickup dinner. So you can buy 2 sausages, and you can buy a bottle of mustard, and you can buy some of our beef jerky or beef sticks or pasta sauce to go.
Or all of these things I see on the wall over here in the jar, which I have to tell you, folks, I never suggest anything I'm not willing to do. So my lovely wife, Margie, and I were here the other day. And, yes, we picked 5 items, mostly out of the glass over there, because I saw all kinds of super yummy stuff.
Yes.
With the Mad Mike label on it. And as you just heard him sharing, these are all produced mini by little, small, family-style operations from various places around our country and locally. And they put forward the dream of a lot of people in the process. That's something that I always love to touch base on, because you help make other people's dreams, which is what I like to share while we're here talking, So we joined the club, and I feel chagrined because all the years I've known you here, and I've had your sausage many times, and it took actually No, so we got to talk about dial the clock way back. So in my past days with my Wine Country Talk radio show, some very, very good friends of ours, okay, Jim and Judy Brady, who had little Roadrunner Ridge Winery in northern San Diego County. Of course, we were at their New Year's Day gathering they do every year to celebrate their anniversary. Yeah. And that's when we started talking and went, dang, I got to come over there and actually, look closer, or I should say taste closer.
We actually met them at the Orange County Wine Society when I was an Orange County-based company. And now, of course, I'm a member of the Temecula Valley Wine Society, and we host a lot of events for them here. But Jim and Judy are great people.
Well, I have to share this little story because it's so fun. I chased them for a long time when they were in the roaring days of the early time of Roadrunner Ridge Winery on the backside of Rainbow Mountain there, and just in the northern end of Fallbrook. And I finally drugged them into the radio studio on AM 590 in San Bernardino, and we're recording the show. So we opened up with the old Bo Diddley song, I'm a road runner, baby, and I can't keep up with you. And as I played the opening, I said, in the studio, I've got two folks that I've been running after for the longest time. A place called Roadrunner Ridge Winery. And Judy didn't miss a heartbeat. She chips in and goes, meep. And we all busted a gut for about 3 minutes trying to get our act back together so we could complete the radio show.
Exactly.
And that'll give people an idea. They recently retired, after a lot of fun following their passion in that realm. So,
well, by the way, Leroy, I just heard you sing.
Yeah,
and,
you don't want me singing.
Besides the Sausage Club, the Wine Club, we also have a music club, and we would not like you to join, okay?
But I know music well, that's all. All right, so now, particularly, and I'm looking over here, and the other day I got to taste two wines that have the Mike label, Mad Mike label on it. So let's talk. First, before we talk about your wine club and how it functions,
sure.
Let's talk about the fact that now you guys have your own Mad Mike wines. Now, you're in the fledgling stage. I see two, and we got to taste them up the other day and was quite impressed, especially with the Old Vine Zinfandel from the Lodi area. So talk about how that came about. How would, with all the other stuff you've got going on, okay, obviously in wine country, you do what wine country people do, right? So how'd that all come together?
Okay, and just before I answer that question, I do want to follow back on all these other items we have on the shelves.
Absolutely.
Barbecue sauces and pickled eggs and jams and jellies, spices and seasonings. All of those we put together because they go great with wine. If you're talking cheese tray, you need to look at some of our jams and jellies as an addition to the crackers. If you're doing chips and salsa in an event and you're drinking wine, boy, you got to look at some of our salsas. If you're drinking wine and having a pasta dinner, so there isn't anything in our store that doesn't go well with wine, and a lot of our brewery friends too like everything that's on the shelves. Just quickly on the Mad Mike wine labels, it's not a big part of our business.
Right.
My wife and I both like wine. There's a broker that we've known for 20 years that brokers wines, and he has come to me before when I owned the restaurant in Orange County and here. He'll come to me every year with about a dozen flavors that he thinks I'll like after working with me for years.
Right. Okay, so flavors we're talking about, grape varietals in the bottle.
Yes,
okay.
and all kinds.
Right.
I happen to have an Old Vine Zen from Lodi right now that I really like and I'm really proud of. We also have a Pinot Grigio from Italy that the broker brought to me that was good enough for me to put a label on.
Right.
But I have to tell you, I'm not a winemaker.
Right.
That is, I have so much respect for winemakers. I'm not even in the same league with them.
But I do have to throw this in there, okay? because if anybody's read the book about Barefoot Wines, the folks who started that company started by brokering bulk wine and found out a way to come up with a label that, with a glance, you knew what it was. And their whole story in their book, I totally recommend to anybody that's got dreams that they want to pursue. And it's a similar kind of thing. They started finding fun wine that they wanted to be connected to. And in a way, that's kind of a little kernel drop off of their big story at a little lower level, and that's quite fun. And then you've factored that in, of course, the way your wine club works, because like you said, you're not a winemaker, not a winery, right? So,
well, the private label, if it has a Mad Mike label on it, and you're in our clubhouse cafe or the clubhouse store, I'm very confident that once you take it home, you'll enjoy it. But I'm also very upfront with the fact that I'm a consumer myself.
right.
And if I don't like it, it doesn't go on my shelf. Now, we are not marketing the wine other than here at our restaurant.
right.
Come in, buy a bottle of wine, have some food.
But the lion's share of the people that follow me are following the wine. Okay,
Yeah.
so
Well,
and food and all the good stuff that goes with it. So I had to break that point.
I know.
So,
I just want to tell you, I'm not marketing it to
Right.
other restaurants.
Exactly.
I still
Yes.
sell restaurants, hotels, country clubs, and wineries. But I'm not selling that wine. It's just something that I found nice enough that was offered to me to private label, and we put our label on it, and we're proud of it. But I'm also proud, we're both sitting here and looking at our selections. I'm proud of those 30 other wines that
Right.
are here local. They're from Northern California. They're from Washington, or they're from all over. I'm proud of everything that's on this shelf. But we specifically in our wine club like to support this Temecula Valley wine. And so we always have a local winery. When we do our wine club pickups in the dinner, we have a local winery that's highlighted. We'll take our wine club and we'll take them off to one of the local wineries and take that winery over for an afternoon so our members can see somebody that maybe they've never seen before.
And of
or
course,
haven't
they
gone.
bring Mad Mike sausage.
Well, we
course,
hope so, before, during, and after.
Which I've had a chance to be part of that out at Chapin Winery in times past. So, and I can't miss the opportunity because, but by the time people get to hear this podcast, this will be as we say, a fait accompli. But I get to pour some of our Chapin wines for an event here in the
You
short
do this coming
future.
Saturday.
Yeah, so we're in the early part of January 2022 for people down the road listening to us and going, okay, when did this take place? But anyways, that's one of the fun things is to, when you're at and part of a wine operation, and in this case in our Temecula Valley, in the place I've been for 10 years, and listeners know, whether it's from the radio or here on the podcast, I make no bones about it. I've hung my hat with Steve Chapin, Chapin Family Vineyards for a good decade.
Love 'em.
And the fact that I get to come and gather with 40, 50, 60 folks at one of your parties here and share some Chapin wine is quite a fun little thing.
Ours is not a wine club. It's a wine and dine club.
Right.
So all of our wines are tied to food, which is appropriate for Mad Mike.
Right.
But I will tell you, all of our wine club members are also members of wineries in this local valley. They really enjoy wines. They like having fun. And it's amazing how many of the people get to know each other because they see each other at other events. And many of our wine club members are members of our sausage club too. We also have an angel club, which we deliver meals to people who really need a meal from Mad Mike. But we have our members that are part of that angel club. We have a music club because we do a little music on Open Mic Monday, and we do a jazz blues on Wednesday. But most of all, we're just a little hole in the wall here that
and
likes
some of the
people
best food in the world
and
comes
has
from little
great
holes
food.
in the
And,
wall.
yeah, so
That's fun. Well, let's go back to, and I want to get a little bigger picture of the wine club, because you've got quite a selection and lineup of wines. So
Right.
when they're in the wine club, how many wines
yeah.
per month
Right.
or quarter or half a year?
Yeah.
How do you work that out?
Let me tell you about that.
Yeah.
We have wines from all over, actually, and we have beers from all over, including local Temecula breweries,
Of which there's a lot.
which
Yes.
there's a lot, and mostly all nice people too. We on the wine shelf in our wine club, just because we have dinners and lunches and things, we have a nicer selection than a typical restaurant has.
Absolutely.
Because Sherry and I like wine. And we appreciate it. The wine club itself is a very small wine club, meaning it's not as large or involved as a lot of the wine clubs.
Right.
It's only 2 bottles every 2 months, every other month. And we're different than some. You can't switch them out.
Right.
Mad Mike picks them, you take them. But I guarantee them. So if you're not happy, we'll fix it. But it's not a huge amount to spend.
Right. You're
And-
very reasonable.
We
Kind
do
of price
reasonable
point,
pricing, but you have to understand, I'm not a talented winemaker like all my friends in this community. I don't have 28 acres.
But you
of
are a
vineyard.
talented sausage maker.
Well, I have a great. I think I have a great palate, but
you gotta have. I've tasted a number of your sausages, and they're pretty dang good.
thank you. We don't pretend to be a winery and a wine club. We pretend to be Mad Mike. We don't pretend. We are Mad Mike,
Right.
selecting wines that he really likes. And so those are the 2 wines you get in the wine club. But you can also, when you come and have dinner, you'll see other wines. When we do our wine tasting dinners, we'll sample 7 wines. And a couple of them, 2 or 3, will be from a local winemaker that's passing out their flyers and telling about the thing, their whole concept and what the tasting room looks like at their place and the vineyards. We're really honored to live in this town, this valley, and get to know so many different people. So if you ask me which winery I like best, I'm not going to tell you.
Exactly.
Because
yes.
I've never met a winemaker I didn't like. I have met wines I didn't like.
Right.
But I've never met a winemaker. And I respect anybody that's a
Blood, sweat, and
business,
tears
that's a business
that goes into
owner
that. Yes.
that is willing to invest in this country and produce something spectacular. So, no, we're very supportive of the local wine. This is very small. It always involves food, and it always involves fun and laughter and camaraderie.
And now, speaking of fun and laughter, I want you to grab that bottle right there.
All right.
Because, all right, folks, you know that we never do a show talking about wine that we're not sipping it also. So Mad Mike chose one of the bottles that they serve here, and that's what we're sipping. So we have stemless glassware right at the moment. So our clink you heard just a moment ago, it wasn't kind of a ding. That's right. It still works. So
We can do it again if you want better noise.
So we this is one. This would be like representative. So let's talk about this wine just specifically because
Just
it's
in
the one that
particular.
we chose to sip
right.
on while doing the show.
And this particular wine is one that we have all the time. We switch out our wines a lot,
Right.
but we always have a house wine, and then we always have some wines that are here, and then we have some specialty wines. Come get them while they're here, and
Right.
when they're gone, they're gone. Sometimes we get deals on wines that we can't get 3 months from now, so when we get a deal, we bring it. This one's one that we have all the time, and it's called Friends Red. Friends. I love Friends. I really love Friends. This is a red blend. It's from Sonoma. And the blend here it's a blend of Merlot, Zinfandel, and Syrah.
And it's very food friendly. Although this is a great sipping wine just by itself.
Yes. It's full-bodied.
Right.
It goes with sausage, by the way.
Speaking of,
On the other
what
hand,
do I have right here? I got to take a little bite.
there's very few sausages that don't go with all types of wines. And there's very few wines that don't go with our sausages. But that's what we're drinking. It's a red blend from Sonoma.
So you can come in here and get a nice cross selection, white and red. And do you have any blushes at this point?
Well, one of my personal favorite wines is by a company called Petrocini, and it's a rosé of Zinfandel. So you may call that a blush. I just find it a great afternoon wine.
Rosé, pink, blush, just like
I like
that. So,
personally,
afternoon wine.
I don't have the skills and the background that you have, or the many years in the business that you do. But
I'm like you. Wait a minute. Many years. I think you go longer.
Oh yeah, I
on
do.
your side of the fence than I go on my side.
I'm pretty much a typical guy. I like
But
whites in
I
the
think
afternoon.
you're more handsome than me, but I'm trying to catch up with you because I'm growing a goatee now too. So
Yeah, when you grow up, you want to be just like
I
me.
want to
See?
be just like you.
I like white wines in the afternoon typically. I like a blush, I guess you would say, but I like a
blush or rosé.
yeah. This rosé I like in the afternoon. It's my go-to, and then when the sun starts to set, I'm pretty much a big red guy.
So, folks, follow my podcasts all over the place, but particularly, I'm more popular in Southern California because it's always been my stomping grounds and where I tend to spend more time than in other places. So, somebody's coming to Southern California and they want to go to Mad Mike's. So, if I go Waze or Google Maps, give me Mad Mike's, you'll pop up, right?
Yeah, you don't have to do the Mad Mike's Clubhouse Cafe. Just say Mad Mike's.
Mad Mike's.
Or probably just say sausage, and it'll tell you.
Sausage, and you'll pop up.
We're Commerce Center Drive, 27470 Commerce Center Drive in Temecula. But we're not far from Old Town.
Right.
We're open Wednesday through Saturday, our store. And we've just started lunch again now, post-COVID. It's so hard to find good people. It's so hard to get products and supplies. And so we've just started back lunch, 11 to 2:30, Tuesday through Friday. But our store's open Tuesday through Saturday.
Well, I'm going to make a plug here because the other day we had lunch here at your place, and I did one of your sausage melts. So people think of like a patty melt. No, make it with sausage.
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh. And you can walk in and out of here for lunch and still have money in your wallet.
That's right.
It's like, these are like prices of a long time ago.
I'm old school.
Yep.
I'm sorry. I still can't see $25 hamburgers. But I know that's what other operators have to do. Prices are skyrocketing, and they have incredibly high rents. I'm in a place that we have a comfortable rent. We're about having fun and people, so I don't mark it up like other people do. But it's fair pricing. It's great food.
I'm just going to say this, just in general, okay, and we're not talking about all the goods you might have, like a glass of wine with it or so on, et cetera. But like here, I had a Mad Mike melt, and it was $10.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, people, and And you can get a little side to go with it, some coleslaw or some barbecue beans or a number of other yummy goodies they make here. And you walk out the door and go, gosh, there's still money in my pocket. I'll be doggone. I can have dinner, But that's,
well, you can get a nice,
what,
reasonable glass of our wine, too.
Yes. All right, so I'm going to make one last little plug here, that if folks are listening from somewhere outside of our locale, okay, and they go, gosh, I'd like some Mad Mike sausage. Can they get that shipped to them?
We have a website.
Right.
It's madmikesstore.com. Two S's there. Okay. Mad Mike's plural, store.com. Uh-huh. And, right now, again, it's this COVID era that we're living in, we're having distribution problems in most shipping that we do. So we're serving Southern California. We ship anything on our website. Mm-hmm. If it's not sausage, if you want mustards, jams, jellies, etc., we'll ship anywhere in the country.
Right.
But if you want the sausages, Southern California,
that's more difficult. Okay. Yeah.
We have some specialty places. We have our own store in Warner Springs, California. We just opened it up a little. Now, instead of Mad Mike's Cafe, it's Clubhouse Cafe. It's the Clubhouse. There's no cafe, but it's a little store in Warner Springs. If you're down looking at those wineries, we love all of those people too.
So for folks that are in Southern California, that'd be Highway 79 South, going south of Temecula and to the west. To the east,
towards Julian,
like where William Christopher is, and then Emerald Creek, and you got Shadow Mountain and Sierra Roble, and all kinds of fun things, Hawkwatch and whatnot. Yeah, that'd all be out in that area. So there's some good wines out there to be pairing up with. Yes. Okay. Mike, this has been way too long before we finally made this happen, and I am going to definitely have some fun with you pouring some Chapin wines, as people know, coming up at one of your events. And we're part of the club now, so we're going to be you're going to be seeing probably too much of Margie and I. So.
Oh, no. Every 2 months? How will I survive? Well, I just, we appreciate the opportunity to be on your show, too. And I don't know, if you can hear my voice, just know that if we've met you or haven't met you, we look forward to seeing you.
That's awesome.
That's it.
That's it. So the Spill the Wine Show podcast, we actually made episode number 9 at the beginning of the 2022 year, and we're all fired up. We're going to start getting a whole bunch of these in the pipeline. I'm your host, Leroy Guilford. Be sure you also catch the weekly little blurb on AM 830 here in Southern California, the Dining with Peter Dill's show, and we telescoped this show down to 7 minutes, and we put it out all over the airwaves of the Angels baseball station. So, Mad Mike,
yes, sir.
From Leroy the Wine Guy, we'll be talking soon.